And so these are like random thoughts, but these are the things that stick out with me that have meaning to me. So the first time I ever drank alcohol, this is just has a funny memory, was when I was, I think, 15 or 16, and my sister, who's 2 years older than me, and her best friend, Amy, they're still best friends, decide to rent a room at the Alamo Plaza in Baton Rouge. Now, if you know about the Alamo Plaza, this is a place that you can rent. You don't even have to rent by the hour. You can rent it for 15 minutes. I think at one point it was even bring your own sheets. It's, it's one of those places. But we're like, we're going to have a party. So they rented this room and they made jungle juice in the bathtub. So they had a trash can that had ice in it, and you walk by, you dip your cup in the ice, or you dip your cup in and get jungle juice, and then you have a cup that gets your cup of ice. And I drank one drink and I was drunk. And the Alamo Plaza back then had a swimming pool. Yeah, they really had a swimming pool. There's probably dead bodies buried under it, but they had a pool. And I remember walking over, and I told Angel, I'm going swimming. She's like, no, the hell you're not. I'm like, yeah, I don't think I went swimming, but I did dip my legs in there. And then I know one of her friends walked by and said, you're going to have to get some antibiotics if you put your legs in that pool. And I didn't care. I was like so proud to be hanging with my sister and her best friend at the Alamo. Well, fast forward to whenever I turned 18, I graduated from high school. My sister and her other best friends, it was Sheila and Amy. Well, Sheila and Angel, my sister, rented an apartment. They lived together. They live right down the road from us in Central. And they were like, you're going to come stay with us and we're going to take you to the Texas Club. I'm like, all right. Well, they were ordering me these banana drinks. Well, they didn't taste like they had alcohol. I love banana. It tastes like banana. Well, next thing I know, I'm back at the townhouse, and they had a day bed with the trundle bed that you pull out. Well, I woke up the next morning on the floor between the trundle bed and the bed, and I'm like, why'd y'all just leave me on the floor? And they were like looking at me like, you're not our problem. As I'm talking, I'm realizing how great of an influence my sister was. Doesn't it sound like that? But I wasn't a major drinker at all, but now that I'm thinking about it, when I did drink, it was with her and her friends. And yeah, like I said, she and Amy are still best friends. That's cool too. I think that's really cool to stay friends that long. But I had some good times with them. I had some really good times with them. When you think back to times like that, it's when you really didn't have a care in the world and everything felt safe. And yeah, that was cool. That was just cool. And then, fast forward to then she meets Jeff, my brother-in-law. They get married, and eventually she has her daughter, and then she has her son. And I'm leading into one of my favorite memories. And Caitlin is almost 3 years older than Hunter. I think, so Angel and Jeff went out of town, and I was staying with the kids. And I love my family so much because we all have the same sense of humor. So it's like when when I think about who do I want to hang out with, them. We laugh hysterically. And just quick-witted. Everybody's like that. So Hunter comes in the room, and I was sitting there at the computer, and he walked in. He said, Nanny, you know how you told me and Caitlin that we could ask you anything, and you would never lie to us, and you'd always tell us the truth, and you'd always be there for us? And I said, yeah. And he's been real serious. He said, and that means I can ask you anything, and you will not lie to me. I said, no, Hunter, I will not lie to you. I promise. I said, I mean that. You can ask me anything. And I'm being like acting like sentimental because he's acting like the little shit. And he goes, oh, so anything. I said, yeah, anything. He goes, okay, well, I have a question. I said, what? He goes, is Santa real? Oh, man. I was like, you little son of a bitch. I said, yes. And he goes, "You lie. I'll never trust you again." He storms out. He's being a little shit, right? He storms out, and I'm like, he set me up. He set me up. So I call my sister. I'm like, "When are y'all coming home? These little shits are they're picking on me." And I tell her what happened, and she cracks up. She goes, "Well, why'd you lie to him?" I'm like, "Oh, screw you too." And I hung up the phone. And so we still talk about that because he played me. And he played me good too, because that little, I call him a little shit. I love him to death because he had a straight face. This little humble little boy, like, I have a serious question. Like, he's all trying to confide, and I'm playing into it. And then I don't think I lied, technically. And I went back in his room, and he held his hand up at me, like, "Don't come in here." I said, "Hunter." And he said, "You lied to me." I said, "Hunter Perryman, it depends on how you view it." And he said, I don't want to hear that." And I said, "No." I'm like, "It's the magic and the spirit of Christmas." He goes, he didn't even look at me. He just had his hand up because, "No, but you lied." I was like, I'm going home. Like, I'm going home. But I love these kids. I mean, they just have the funniest sense of humor. Golly, isn't that cool? Like, whenever you think about who you want to hang out with, it's like my family, because we all laugh. So here's something else that was really funny. This is a story. This is the number one story that my family shares about what happened years ago. So when we were living in California, Tijuana, Mexico, they had this massive flea market. And, it didn't take long to go over the border and go to this flea market. Well, my mom had broken her leg, and she had to be in, I guess it was a wheelchair. We got there, and they had, it looked like I guess it was a wheelchair. If you have something broke, get your ass in a wheelchair, and you get to roll around this massive flea market. So my parents had given Angel and I our allowance, and, like, go find some shit you want to buy. So we get there, my mom sits in the wheelchair, and we go heading in, like, walking off, and she's just sitting there like nobody's pushing her. And she goes, "Hey." And I look back like, I'm not doing that. And Angel looked back like, "I'm not doing that." And my mom goes, "I got this." So she starts flapping her arm across her chest, and she's going, "Angel, Angel." She's doing is acting mentally challenged at high volume. And then I'm trying to scoot out of there, like, like, as fast as I can. "Well, you can't, it's crowded." And then she looks at me and she goes, "Daddy, come help me." Well, now everybody's looking at us like we're the worst kids on the planet. We left our mom there. She can't take care of herself. Like, we're humiliated. And the more we scooted away from her, the louder she got. And of course, my dad's like 10 feet away, about to be on himself, laughing. She never bothered to call him. And finally, I think we both went back over there because we were humiliated. We went back over to the chair, and she goes, "See what you little shits get?" She said, "Now push me." I said, Mom, that's not cool." And she said, "Try me again." Just her sense of humor. That's how my mom was. She would do stuff like that to embarrass us. Not all the time, but when it was appropriate, because that was perfect timing. My mom, before she died, still told that story, but my dad tells it the best because it gets animated and loud. But, I mean, she was just beating her chest, like, with her arm, like, flapping, but people were looking at us, like, glaring at us, like, "You ungrateful, mean kids." And you know what, when you're young like that, it's embarrassing. A witch. She did stuff like that all the time. I don't blame her. I would too. It was perfect timing, So, I say we had so much fun. Or doing things like that embarrass each other. My sister and I have this joke. It's been going on for years, that every year around Christmas, or her birthday, I buy her a new car. Well, it's a broom. It's a broom. She's a witch. And a couple of years ago on her birthday, which was at Saltgrass Steakhouse, we roll up in there for her birthday, and the place is packed. And I have a broom, and everybody looked at me, and I said, "This is my sister's new car," and everybody cracked up laughing. And I brought it to the table and everything. Well, it was from Dollar General, and Angel said, "I'm not driving that cheap ass thing." And it on the packaging it said angle broom, because it's angled, but at the end where it's ANGLE, I just marked it out with the Sharpies and put ANGEL as her name. And I said, "They just spelled your name wrong. It's your broom. Like, literally, it's got your name on it." And she said, "Where did you get this piece of shit?" She said, I'm not driving that." And I said, "You're getting old. You can't just hop on one like you used to and fly off like you're Harry Potter. Like, it's kind of like a motorcycle. You need something with seatbelts and 4 doors and all that. You're going to fly this broom." And she's like, "I'm not." And so I went to a flea market a couple days later, and I bought her several used brooms. And she was like, "Are you kidding me?" Now, my sister is a car snob. She trades her car in every couple of years. She's had more cars than everybody I know combined. And so she said, you got me a used one?" She's like, "You know me better than that. I'm not going to use that. Like, you got to do better." So I said, "You know what, you ungrateful witch? I got you." So those tiny little cinnamon brooms you hang on your door, put on the back of your toilet? I got her one of those. It fits in the palm of your hand. And I'm like, you know what? This is it. I'm not going out of my way to make sure you get a safe car. This is it. Plus you're getting too old. This is it. This is your ride. It's kind of like a tricycle. And she's still ungrateful to this day. Still ungrateful. I've gone out of my way to find fancy ones. She just complains every time. It's like there's no pleasing her. Look, we even went up, when we were at Disney, we went into the Harry Potter section, and I found her one of those nice, fancy, schmancy Harry Potter brooms. She still complained. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. Like, it makes me not want to do things for her, because there's no winning. Like, I have bought her at least 20 different brooms. She could fly on one. She could combine both. She could do anything. Like, walk, bitch. That's what I want to say. I don't know. I'm going to have to think that through. Christmas is coming up, and I think that little tiny broom that fits in the palm of my hand, I think I got it two for one, like 2 in one package. She might get that again. But I'm definitely not going out of my way, because the complaining's got to stop. I even wrote her a poem and framed it. I mean, it was kind of a smart-ass poem. But I wrote her a poem and framed it when we went to Saltgrass. Presented it to her, read her the poem in front of the whole restaurant. They all laughed. She didn't laugh. She was, not happy with her angle broom. But, that's the difference between she and I. I'd be very happy. I'd be grateful no matter what. But she's a little arrogant when it comes to vehicles.